na manyantie bi from parliament me te ho say ompese omo yes on say omo jeje natural resources to normal Ghanaians abrofo na didi krom ha che ntime de me gina so say Ghana ye gold aye tuo no say ohun say Goldbod the whole of this year me best performing government appointee Sammy Gyamfi
Intebusiafo yasan so ehye biom sisi a chairman Wontumi's case no the pressure is getting worse because the lawyer ababedi nkomo na wutie nkomo ne say ne kwa na say it is true the omo kafa Wontumi hu ni na ye no kre na rofo ye ba be die nkomo ye betie die ko Saddick Adams ababe applaud Sammy Gyamfi for a service or the body NDC government in him says here Sammy Gyamfi with the help of Goldbod nyoma wanwasu bi wo Ghana ha wodwen wa wonti ase me say major changes eba Ghana ama Ghana krankonkoji loan ne kese na fi Goldbod na rofo me na oba be colleges ni mu ye beti nsem a Saddick Adams kafa Sammy Gyamfi ho na mom no ansa be koye nsem me ka so ye new viewer na won subscribe to your channel we am just over subscribe like it share your comments ni mu na share video no na mafoforo into me enhwe bi enti yendi kan enhye en conversation ase emfamfi Saddick Adams ne nsem oka
na manyantie bi from parliament me te ho say ompese omo yes on say omo jeje natural resources to normal Ghanaians abrofo na didi krom ha che ntime de me gina so say Ghana ye gold aye tuo no say ohun say Goldbod the whole of this year me best performing government appointee Sammy Gyamfi
obojuma
me best performing government appointee nana unim say all of a sudden aban ni mu nyina omo pillar ni Goldbod all of a sudden yanko IMF yanko bobosia ye dollar na gina nyina
10 billion of the Akusin Bank of Ghana
a Goldbod but some institution awo ho sa from a champion time
a champion po ya bo ade nyina say je pa ade nyina na
ye japa de nyina kakra be free baba no enti the best thing me de minim obi abetima gina ba bia me be ye morning show this year me best performing government appointee Sammy Gyamfi one ne deputy Richard Nunekwepu omo bo adwuma papa ni nyina ne sese ye tinga ma economy na gina for 1 year ni na obi agitum say policy rate about dollar hunahuna ye biem ye se dollar no kra no ba bia na nke be ko Christmas e timi kosoro no adaso agina ho anko ba bia for the first time in many years na afi ye interest rate afi so hwe inflation bibia ba form no
from 24 to single digit and they say ye gold no akotai ye currency nachi eno na Britain mo reserves ye no na bo mo currency da bia denden no omo sun to gold enti de na ho ne say Chinese Pakistan India Dubai sankrofo ne ba Ghana gold na ye tu no ma beto no mo de fa de kwati kwan so ko mo krom akobake omo economy no ena Goldbod for abeye mra say say gold bi ebetu bia no every Ghana de obi ani ho kwan say obeto gold ha je say ye to yen Ghana na yen ya na be oni gold na yen ya ton no kwan pass ye fast ton no hey yes former vice president the late Amisata okokasa wo India and was say Ghana ni India were very good relationship na gold cry by India hano Ghana ye supply musei no so 25% of the gold deben from comes from Ghana owie na India mampanyi ne bekasa say vice president I think your statistics and records are wrong the gold that comes from Ghana to India is more than the 25% we are around 65% and I say really no say na say Ghana no dey fa yen channel mu ekọ India no and I 25%. But India phone be so about Krum ha. Almost turn illegally. But who could do here they are accounted for. To omo carbon ne free Ghana, not just say more than 65%. But yeah, the move for so 25. Say Goldbod and by gold and anke be ire nyina no. Akwa kodi Goldbod. Wo be fast o di bi fa kwati kwan wa chew. Na wo broni wo be didi ye gudie ho de anyi. eno na ama ne yetime agina kakre enti se yetimi aba be sakra niemam na one appointee pe ena ne omatimi this appointment na ba e back ye dia na Sammy Gyamfi ye me best performing government appointee for the year.
Mesan so agina so asre se be ya Goldbod policy no yenya ne bi fankom na Sammy Gyamfi na me law aba bi ba o me change no
that be act
a
Goldbod Act, one of the earliest acts of Mopasi. And then no certificate of agency. A minority for Omo pass it.
Then obedient to me change it.
Yes.
Obedient to me change it. Because so 1 year 10 billion Ghana cedis.
Yes.
A dear cushion. Bank of Ghana.
Enti se wuti nsemo Saddick Adams kana, it is nothing but the truth. Sammy Gyamfi any Goldbod. In fact, in your more no, would you want to say? You see, a Goldbod has a jewelry shop. Apart from the jewelry shop, no, they are really contributing to Ghana's economy. Big time, because there's no loan taking. You who says you see a big push project, no mobile starting yamwa next year. And out of four, we share the major things coming up. Any baby as can free bar because we think someone at forcing ne budget ever be too job for next year. They were like, where is he going to get all this money from? Kakrane upon who they actually more this side no. Sammy Gyamfi is really working. In fact, Ghana young gold no, they are keeping it well, making sure that it passed through the right processes. And right process never funny now. No, it's not just going in waste. The country or the nation is gaining something from it. And I'm very sure, say the president Mampeni Mahama is really proud choosing Sammy Gyamfi. Say Sammy Gyamfi should go and work there because Sammy Gyamfi deliver ye. Now yeah, they are no to nchenya. Yeah, ba into chairman Wontumi the 24 million fraud case. Say cedis was a dollars. The lawyer na babekasa are all confirm. And I don't for answer ebeti lawyer and dra. Attorney General and in a press release ababe circulating. No, he made it clear that Wontumi will be prosecuted. Now therefore prosecution no ehun nsem easy yenti nsem attorney general editor jayeba yebeti lawyer no ne nsem o kan dia or they confirm say ampa it is true.
Have made the decision to prosecute Wontumi Farms and its directors with defrauding by false pretenses, forgery and causing financial loss to the state in the sum of 24,255,735 Ghana cedis. This figure represents the principal sum plus the interest that has accrued so far. And ladies and gentlemen, by the time we file charges, which will be definitely after the Christmas break when we resume work, it might be that this figure would have increased because the interest on the principal keeps compounding. And so we will get the exact figure of the amount that is involved in this, criminal enterprise from the Exim Bank before we file charges in court. Ladies and gentlemen.
And this in someone Attorney General needed to Jana and say Chairman Wontumi's case no. It's nowhere ending today or tomorrow. Nemuno emu ba be serious. Emu ba be serious ankasa. And a year pass any manager or kon ye fast. Ka sa charges we ni na ke bibe bono. Yemfa no mfa nto nchene nti nsem lawyer here Chairman Wontumi lawyer eka ewo this side.
Cedis, not in dollars as people wanted us to believe. So that is the beginning of the transaction and the beginning of the discussions on it. Again, there was a contract between Exim Bank and indeed Wontumi Farms. Right. And I mentioned Wontumi Farms because the parties in the contract were Exim Bank and Wontumi Farms. Suffice it to say that the Attorney General also mentioned Chairman Wontumi as a director of the company. It is not as of preference that you attack a director of a company when the company itself is in existence, except that there are conditions to meet before you can even bring the directors in, which conditions we are waiting for the Attorney General's office to prove. Nevertheless, there is an existing company known as Wontumi Farms, and Wontumi Farms is in contract with Exim Bank Ghana Limited. And I want us to limit it to the transaction between the two entities, not to try to identify the parties behind the company and, designate them as associating themselves with political parties. That is very unnecessary. So I think that we should concentrate on the transaction between Exim Bank and Wontumi Farms.
Right. One of the many accusations that the AG made against your client is that he says that Chairman Wontumi forged a 4 million Ghana cedis invoice that he received from Kasama Enterprise, and he removed the word invoice and replaced it with receipt to make it seem like he had purchased something, and that 4 million Ghana cedis was the receipt to deceive Exim Bank.
I would rather try to reframe your question to mean Wontumi Farms submitted a receipt.
Yes.
It could have come from any official Wontumi Farms, but I'm not too certain whether it was brought by Chairman Wontumi himself, but carried the inscription of Wontumi Farms making the deposit or submitting the receipt. But in all this, if the receipts were forged, were there not officials in Exim Bank to determine whether or not these receipts were wholesome? Was it the case that...
And this audience and what Chairman Wontumi lawyer ne kana, you should know says and we be a case ne do anwaya ding. Anwaya ding. I don't know sikakura ne Chairman Wontumi pa. Emma ne yes and your my way. And I say possibly no, and then Crawford ne use Chairman Wontumi wa brano nim. Because it's too much. Na me feel say anke go the hun sensempe, but sisi and the ababe ka ho na no ding. And out of war, when it comes to the people they are arresting now, and Ramekanye, and there's some say repeat bium say arresting Chairman Wontumi alone is not enough. Nipa na no that bank na no or some munchi nka ho. Any other party involved in this no, also munchi nipa nka ho. There's a yes and a tedia, there's a resetting agenda and they're saying they are doing it based on Chairman Wontumi because a Wontumi ababe can be against the Mampeni Mahama and saying because I don't get something here. But well, we need a mensaka midi be ebro. Subscribe here, subscribe like na chewadrin, e comment ni mu e for my